Well, I'm Cole.
Hi, I'm Matt, and today we're going to be talking about the new Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. We saw it on Friday. It was I had a great time.
I had a wonderful time. Yeah.
And just to start us off, what did you think about it?
I mean, I've basically been waiting for this film for 3 years now.
Since before COVID.
Yeah. They announced Robert Pattinson was announced to be playing the Batman, March of 2019. It was supposed to come out in June of 2021, but COVID happened. And when the first teaser dropped, it looked like everything it promised. It looked grounded, looked gothic,
and it was something so new. But we were talking about this when we were there. They took so many strange choices that I wouldn't have expected. For just an example, Riddler. His costume, his whole style, we've never seen a Riddler of that kind of style. We've always seen the green Jim Carrey, you know.
Very goofy, very eccentric. But when Matt Reeves says this is going to be very Zodiac-esque, he was not lying. Yeah. He's very bone-chilling and very makes you uneasy.
It doesn't make, not that, there's a certain charm that everything, I've heard some complaints that there's people who are angry that it's not the green suit, but then when you think about it, the whole thing of Batman doesn't make Batman really was one of those shows that doesn't do superpowers very much.
It's very grounded. Yeah.
And now we're gonna go for this character named the Riddler, who's supposed to be this big mystery, but he's standing out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, with a cane, with a top hat.
I'm not gonna guess you're the Riddler.
And for all the naysayers out there about, Twilight Boy's gonna be playing Batman, you were wrong. I would have to say Pattinson's definitely my on-screen favorite Batman. And here's the thing, when I digged off, you get a decent amount of Bruce Wayne in this movie, but this isn't really a Bruce Wayne movie. With the Nolan trilogy, you got a Bruce Wayne movie and a Batman movie. This is a full-on Batman movie of him just doing detective work. And a lot of people were complaining about why is there so many conversations in this Batman movie? They're
building a story.
Yeah, they're going back to the roots of it all, Detective Comics, and even the action in the film was very visceral and makes you scared even for the well-being of these pieces of trash that he's beating up that you shouldn't feel bad for, but he's doing it in such a visceral way, it's insane. But the Batmobile is crazy.
I really appreciated that part of the movie. I kind of disagree. I know there's people who are saying there should have been more Bruce Wayne, but I think this is still kind of spoiler free. But they kind of told the Bruce Wayne side of the story through the Riddler's manipulation and stuff. So you got the Batman stuff trying to figure out all this, and hiding his Bruce Wayne stuff. But the Riddler's riddles were the ones trying to say Bruce Wayne did this, Bruce Wayne's father did this. It kind of accented all those awful the bad parts of Batman. Really bad parts.
And he's not interested in being Bruce Wayne at all. All he wants to do is to be Batman. He's so disconnected from reality and lives in his own world. And a lot of people have a problem with that. They're making Batman emo now. And I'm Batman has always seemed kind of unhinged to me. Just think about it. You're very little. You see your parents shot in cold blood. And then when you grow up, you realize how you want to spend your father's money is to
be a superhero.
To feed into this bizarre dream that you have and to be pieces of trash to a bloody pulp. He's a strange character, but I think that's why people love him so much, because he's not, I'm Mr. Do-Good. I'm think about Superman and Flash and I love them all. Spider-Man, they're all do-good heroes, which is fine. That's just the kind of characters they are. But Batman, and I'm trying to think of another character that kind of goes through kind of this stuff, but Batman doesn't have, Batman's very gritty, and I don't want to say he doesn't want to do this, but this is kind of what his mind has told him he has to do, and that's what they force him to do. What you were saying about he likes being Batman more than whatever, and I think this will be a good transition into the spoiler section, the more discussing about the meat of it. But warning.
Yeah, warning if you're interested in seeing the movie. But that line between the Riddler and Batman is how they're both more comfortable in their masks. That's the real self.
Yes,
You know?
yeah. And even in his words in the movie, he's like, I'm a nocturnal animal. I'm like, got Batman right with that. Like, he is a nocturnal animal. Like, just staying up.
I actually did not love that line.
You didn't?
That line got, like, as the first lines of the movie, it got me, like, I was like, come on, dude. Like, it just felt like very, like, I didn't feel like he was emo the entire movie. I felt like he was struggling, like PTSD-ish.
Yeah.
But I was like, nocturnal animal. Like, dude, you're not I don't know. It just felt a little, like too much.
That's the thing with the dialogue in the movie. I dig the screenplay a lot, but they realized it didn't take itself way too serious. They realized it has come from comic books, and sometimes comic books don't have the most serious stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. The dialogue wasn't exactly corny, but it was cheeky. You know, it was fun. Yeah, so I didn't really have a problem with the dialogue, and I heard some complaints that it was bland. But
I enjoyed it, and the movie. I mean, this goes for most action movies. People really aren't going to watch action movies for the plot. As much as the plot's very interesting, but people go to action movies to see the car fights and the people swinging around on webs and stuff like that. That's the adrenaline pump. And I'm not saying the story doesn't always add. Like, look at No Way Home and this story. Like, the stories are very like gritty and like intense and well thought out. But I think it goes back to the roots, like what you said, comic books. The stories really didn't matter. They looked cool, you know. They were big guys and big, strong girls, like, who could fight, you know. And that's what you looked up to. For this was I was more pretty interested in. We were talking about in the movie the more filmmaking aspect.
Yes, the film is very well done, well shot, well composed, and everything. So should we get into the spoiler? Okay, warning. We're getting into spoilers now. Yeah, the cinematography in this movie, man, it makes you feel like
you're there.
You're in Gotham. Like Gotham, how the way it's light and everything, how the way it's structured and everything, feels like a vibrant and real city. It doesn't feel like a green screen, you know. But it also feels comic bookish. It kind of reminds me of kind of like the Tim Burton movies. There's some like very gothic structures.
The churches
like that.
Yeah.
The whole vibe to it, like in the beginning when the Riddler's looking through the mayor's house, you just see the two nuns walking on the street.
And even like Bruce Wayne's manor.
Very gothic, very like
cathedraly.
Yeah.
And I think that's really interesting as a film style. To make, because it's really setting themselves apart from other. I mean, I'm comparing it to Marvel because Marvel is the most I don't want to say relevant, but they've made the most recent movies. Because DC really hasn't been making that much, but like the film quality was just exceptional. Like it was such a well produced overall movie. Like, we were talking about how some of the choices they made to switch from point of views to, like, in the very beginning, what you were saying, like, go through the eyes of the Riddler or through the eyes of Bruce Wayne or through
and like
the
how
eyes
he like basically ride on the back of his motorcycle and he's riding on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
The second to last shot of the entire movie was a point of view shot, which is strange.
You usually don't get that in comic book films.
Yeah, and not only that, but like, what does it mean about the character, you know, like, it's not, I don't want to say self-inserting, but it could be interesting to look at it like we all have that, like, some sort of these characters in it. Like, I'm not saying we're all like a Riddler,
no,
like the Riddler said, but like we're all very similar, and some people just go one way and some people get lucky the other way, you know. It's just kind of the way we are, and you know, maybe we have to step into their shoes, just like Batman had to step in the Riddler's shoes. Like, maybe as people we have to, you know, we can appreciate that we all have a little bit of those characters in it, you know?
Yeah, it's one of the film themes that it touches on is like the duality, like basically twists of the film. All the Riddler sets these tricks for the Batman, you know, and then you, as a viewer of the film, you think like, oh, all these envelopes and these tricks and these riddles are gonna lead Batman into one big trap, and Riddler's gonna try to like kill him or dismask him or something like that. But apparently it turns out that the Batman has been the biggest inspiration for the Riddler. And it was like an invitation for like a team up in his confession to watch the city flood. And when Batman declines and tells him that he's basically just a nobody and a loser and really is pathetic, he just snaps. And I just like how, I don't know, I just like how Robert Pattinson's acting, like you could tell by his eyes, his disbelief, like how much damage he has caused. Not that he meant to cause it, but he kept on feeding into the Riddler, and he didn't even know that he was the biggest part of the puzzle.
Yeah. One thing that I was curious about asking you is like, what do you think about its like influence in like not this time, but I've been thinking about movies like Encanto and stuff like that, and even like No Way Home, where they've had these kind of social impacts on the world. I mean, like having different, like Disney branching off and doing so much with different cultures and races and all that stuff, which is really exceptional for little kids who are growing up. Do you think it has any sort of like influence in that realm of things, like society? Rather, maybe not in little kids, because little kids probably aren't seeing Batman, but
I saw a decent amount of kids in like our theater, and I wonder how they would react to the opening scene of the film. Influence on the world. I don't know. I think this movie's gonna do really, really good for DC, and DC has been struggling to find like
their niche.
Yeah, their niche, because I don't know. I think movies like this and Joker show that you should give like creative freedom to the filmmakers and not hold them back, or not jam-pack things into one movie. That's like the problem with Batman v Superman. I think they should have done like a Ben Affleck Batman movie before doing Batman v Superman. Do like a Wonder Woman movie before doing Batman v Superman. They cut a lot of stuff out of the Suicide Squad, but I think that would have been terrible. Either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think over the weekend the film has made $128 million, so I think it's gonna get greenlit for a sequel.
What I would like, I remember thinking about this during the movie about like the parallels between some of the stories. Like there was a lot of, strange enough, a lot of politics and a lot of like underground systems and mafia and stuff. I'm not saying there's mafia, but there's a lot of this like corruption that was really interesting to like watch unfold, and you could kind of see stuff like that, like the mayor that got elected. Like they were saying, they're just like these faces. They're just kind of these.
Batman really wear their mask, but also the politicians they wear masks. Yeah, and it's
and that's really interesting to see, because now you put that into the shoes of the real world, not just Gotham. It's strangely similar, like the masks,
Yeah, and especially with technology now, how the Riddler uses technology to expose them, and it's a pretty on a daily basis that you get links of footage or audio of someone that seemed like they were someone else. Turns out they weren't that type of person. I thought that was really interesting. It didn't really seem forceful at all. There were some moments in like Joker where I felt like, they're trying to really hit the nail on the social commentary. But I like how they did the Riddler, because he's kind of over the top once you get to know him, but at first glance he just seems like
a crazy, absolute nut.
But also his appearance, it's like someone you walk across from each other on like the street, or like just your average Joe. But once you get talking to him, gets himself well acquainted.
Yeah, like the scene in the bar where he's like, I was just drinking my cup of coffee.
Yeah, I just ordered a slice of pumpkin pie, and
then he just starts laughing.
You're a nut.
Well, I guess the real question is, what would you give this movie's rating?
I mean, I think I'm gonna have to give this movie an A+.
Really?
Yeah, I love this movie. It gave me all my expectations and more, and I want another 3 hours from it.
Yeah. I can get on that. I would say it's about an A for me.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah, definitely go out and see the movie.
See the movie.
Yeah.
Well, you
We'll
know.
probably talk another time. Thank you.
Yeah. See ya.